Good afternoon, everyone. He mentioned 6 months, and I'm here to talk about Tabadul after 6 months. And I will start with something very personal and something actually happened to me. So 6 months ago, joining the team, sitting with my manager, the CEO, Mr. Abdullah, as you all know, and while he was telling me about my role, and he mentioned this Tabadul, and he started explaining the idea. And one of the challenges when I was thinking about it, this is totally non-traditional for a financial markets to do this type of projects. And then I started asking why? Why we're doing this? Because there's so many competing factors with that. And I will come to that. I wanted to see the value. And I've challenged many times the team about, do we really know why we're doing this? If I'm gonna go to our friends, for example, in Jordan or in Egypt or in any of the exchanges and explain what is the value, I need to have a strong business case. Otherwise, the project is dead before it starts. And then what I found out, actually, I will focus a lot on the value and what is the value. But what I found, it's not a project. This is the key thing. We are in production. We have orders and trades between exchanges. And over the last 2 days, I was getting questions. And people said, but how much the volume, etc. So literally, I've switched the slides yesterday evening. I've added many numbers to make it more related to the topic. Nobody can disagree. When we have numbers, we can't have an argument. It's a fact. Okay? So I'll start with talking about Tabadul. What is Tabadul? When this whole idea started, and I will focus a lot on the dates, 2022. This is when the initiative is 2 years old. Yeah? So 2022, it started with 2 exchanges finding a value of connecting with each other, and I will explain the difference between connecting the 2 exchanges or a broker or a member in one exchange do a DMA with the other. But it all started with these 2 exchanges. First ever trade, July 2022. And then fast forward with a couple of months, a 3rd exchange with Muscat joining as well. So the idea was we create a hub. Okay? We have all this, and we can talk about our exchanges, about the details, about the mechanics. And I think the key thing is how the world look at us. We are not the big fishes in the market. Yeah? We do have liquid companies. We have very good stories to tell in many of our growing economies, in our boosting economies. But we get stronger together, let's put it that way. And I told Abdullah, when I was in the region 15 years ago, there was a talk and discussion about connecting the exchanges. So I told them, we've been talking about this for 14 years, but this time it's live, it's in production. Okay, so the first thing, we don't ask any exchange to change their rules or regulations or to change their business model. The platform is designed in a flexible manner. You can pick and choose, do whatever you want, and just as a business model on the exchange level. And I will use 2 examples because they are very key examples. Foreign ownership in the issuer. I have a limitation how many foreigners in the issuer. You can control that. I don't want all my companies to be listed on Hub. What is the currency traded on the Hub? This is a simple thing. So we don't do the rule maintenance, the exchange maintenance rules. The other thing, the initiative, the program will run the mechanics. You don't need to worry about it. All the mechanics is already done part of the project and the initiative stage. So what we are today, why to join Tabadul? We already have 3 exchanges, and I'm very happy to say last week, the slides were sent some time ago, last week we had AIX trading with us, and on the first day we've seen orders coming in between the exchanges. Yep. And we have case Tajikistan signed, and originally when I started the project I saw it's the Arab boards only, but literally in the last months, and it's not a secret, we've been in Fias, our friends, in Uzbekistan last week, and we signed an MOU with another exchange which paved the way to join Tabadul, and we've seen a huge interest. And the reason of that, it's very hard when you start. But once you are in production, once you see orders and trades, when you see investors actually doing it, and I will show the numbers in a minute, and the last one there I will focus a lot, no fees. You have no, there is no loss for you even to try and join. We are running everything, we are operating everything. This is the actual numbers. Today, we have 3.8 million investors in the hub. We have 11 trading members, and I will show their names. We have 240 plus listed firms. Okay? And this is how it literally works. But the next question is, as an exchange, let's assume, and we've talked about that in one of the meetings, if we don't do anything, we know our business model, things will continue progressing. Trialing a new project, it can work, we can increase liquidity. What is the worst thing that might happen? It won't work, but then no harm happened. Yeah? So with that, market liquidity, large investor base, and no fees to join Tabadul, we don't share any commission with any exchange. You just join us and you operate with us. So if we think about the approach, and here like Steve Jobs, when they created the iPhone, have you ever seen a manual for iPhone? No, it's simple. It should be simple. It's all about simplicity. It's a simple onboarding process. Yeah? And by onboarding is, first thing is from a regulator to regulator, exchange to exchange, and then when we have a member to join us, because it's all about the members. The members need to join. The exchanges will create the link, will sign the agreements, regulators will sign the agreement, but then the members are the key thing, because they are interacting a lot with the investors. So here's the list. These are exchanges, these are active members, they are on the platform, and I was telling Abdullah the other day, my boss, I have a good problem. I have a backlog of work. The current team, we can't cope with it anymore. We are expanding the team again. So it's a good problem to have, but it is again, we have members requesting, at the beginning we were going to the exchanges, now some exchanges are talking to us, it's the other way around as well. Although we have saying the priority to the people who we talk to first. So like you definitely have that. So the next one, the easiest part of this, and this is the easiest part, is you send an order, because it's an order routing. I'll send the order, I'll send it, let's say, from our member in Abu Dhabi all the way to Muscat, for example, trading agent. That's the easiest part. What happens next is the important. How you do the settlement, how Tabadul as an operating framework will actually have funds in every country, yeah, and how it will run the smooth, like post-trade activity. And there was a lot of thinking there, and as I said, I'm more than happy to do a technical. Actually, tomorrow, in part of Amida, we'll do some technical session of the post-trade activity. But the other one, which has a huge appetite, and we've just released it, is the IPO. So Tabadul provides IPO access. So let's assume now you sit, our friends in Kazakhstan, in ARX, they have an IPO, and we have an investor sitting in Abu Dhabi. Yeah? And that investor can, from him sitting in Abu Dhabi, participate in the IPO in the other partner country. So the IPO is a key thing, because that's the primary one. And last but not least, which is coming up very soon, is our market makers participants. In ADX, we have this active market makers, and our market makers want and are heavily involved to create markets in other exchanges. So through Tabadul, they can actually do that market making activity. I will spare the technicalities. I don't have a lot of time, but I still want to have some numbers. I wanted to run it with you. So if we think about simplification, there is a 3 elements to Tabadul. These 3 elements I always talk to my team about it every day. And we challenge ourselves, and we keep doing this every time. When we have a new exchange coming, when we have a new member coming, how we can make it quicker, how we can make it simpler. The procedures and the regulations we created, we can change them. Simpler, quicker, and it's an efficiency. And then when it comes to trading, we've challenged ourselves with the market making. The market making is a very different business. Before they agreed to work with us, they came to me with a number. That number of thousands of orders per minute, can you reach that? Yeah? Yes, if you are connecting to the trading engine directly, you can reach that easily, but this is cross countries, and we had to adjust on the technical side of many things. And we reached a point where the market maker said, okay, I can work with that. Okay? So, and the most important one now, clearing and settlement. When you are in a different countries and you want to open a bank account in that country, there is a long list of KYCs, details, etc. So you can trade as a member with, let's say, omnibus accounts, yeah? So with that, or you can actually create for your investor and individual accounts. So it's an end-to-end process. If somebody asks me, can you tell me how it works? I will show you real time an order, and real time we've done that in one of the meetings. You open your mobile through your member, you choose the exchange, you click it, you see it all the way through. Yeah? Like we as a people, as an individual, I can show you to real time live how it trades in the other exchanges. Now,